Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode. This is the Self-Powered Podcast. I'm your host Mandy, and today we're going to talk about judgment. Let's get right into it. A few years ago, I had a light bulb moment. I was sitting in a cafe enjoying breakfast with my husband when someone walked past. Now, as I looked up, I thought something and I whispered a judgmental comment to my husband. And honestly, I can't even remember what it was. But as soon as I said it, something inside me shifted. A realization, or more accurately, a question popped into my mind. And the question was, what are you insecure about right now? Why aren't you happy with who you are? Honestly, that moment hit me like a ton of bricks. It made me realize something so important. Judgment isn't about the other person. It's about me. It's always about us and never about the person we are judging. And conversely, when we are being judged, it's not about us either. It's always about the person doing the judging. Now, just let me make it clear, I'm not talking about constructive criticism or honest feedback. I think those are really important and necessary. But it's very different. What I'm referring to is the type of judgment that happens when someone is doing no harm and yet we still feel the urge to criticize or put them down. So here's the first great lesson I learned about judgment. It's a trigger. Whenever I feel the urge to judge, it's a sign that I need to do some introspection. It's an opportunity to check in with myself. What am I lacking right now? What part of me needs more attention or healing? You see, in that moment of judgment, my mind is trying to take a shortcut, a clumsy yet very familiar attempt to feel better about myself by putting someone else down. It's trying to convince me that I'm superior, and for a fleeting moment, it even works. But deep down, we all know that this quick fix doesn't last. It never truly makes us feel better. It's a lie, and an unsustainable one at that. But the great thing is when we catch ourselves, there's an opportunity within that judgment. It can be a powerful tool for self-awareness and growth. When we ask ourselves, what in my life makes me feel insecure right now? Or what would make me respect myself more? That's when we shift our focus back to ourselves, and that's when we reclaim our power. And when we do that, we no longer need to hold on to judgment. We can simply let people be who they are without needing to have an opinion about it, which is super freeing, by the way. Now, building on that, here's the second lesson. Don't judge others based on their level of development. Our beliefs, actions, and behaviors are deeply shaped by our backgrounds, our life experiences, and our current circumstances. So much of what we believe comes from what we were taught growing up and taught by society. Reconditioning long-held beliefs isn't easy. You and I both know that. And it's not something that happens overnight. It takes time and patience and self-awareness. And we have to give people the space to get there. Take my own upbringing, for example. My mom always encouraged me to think for myself. She didn't expect me to just accept her decisions blindly. She would explain her reasoning and then let me voice my own thoughts and ask questions. I've never heard her say, "Do it just because I said so." She always explained why she thought something was the right choice, and sometimes, if I made a valid point, she would even change her mind. That gift she gave me, the ability to question, to think critically, and to choose my own path, shaped me into who I am today. It allowed me to evolve, and I'm so grateful for that. But not everyone has had the same experience. Some people were raised in environments where questioning authority wasn't allowed, where they were taught to follow orders without understanding why. And for them, growth and evolution can feel like an insurmountable challenge because their default is to let others decide for them. My point is, we must remember that we all evolve at different paces and we all come from different places. It's not fair to judge someone for not evolving the same way or at the same speed as we have. Malcolm X once said, "Never judge anyone, for there was a time where you didn't know what you know today." I really think we should all carry that sentiment with us daily. And if you want to dive deeper into this idea, I highly recommend reading Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It will really open your eyes to how our early experiences shape who we are, and also how it influences our potential for success. So the next lesson, and this is probably the most valuable and admittedly the most challenging one I've learned about judgment. Anytime you feel the urge to judge, challenge yourself to understand instead. Now this one can be tough, and many people push back when I say this, but I truly don't believe anyone intentionally chooses to be a bad person. Our experiences shape us in profound ways. Some people evolve from their experiences, while others don't even realize they have the choice to. And there are also people who are so terrified of facing their own truth that they rather stay stuck in ignorance, because facing all the pain they carry and have caused is just too much to bear. Of course, this doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but understanding it can keep you from feeling triggered or hurt by it, because again, it's not about you. A question I like to ask myself when someone behaves in a way that upsets me, and if I try to understand them better, is what is the request behind this behavior? In other words, what need is this person trying to fulfill through this behavior? Are they being arrogant and angry because they need to feel powerful, because that's the only way they feel valuable? Or are they being controlling because they are afraid that people won't stay if they give them freedom, because deep down they don't believe anyone would love them for who they truly are? Are they acting superior because they're trying to convince themselves and the world that they're good enough? Or are they staying in their comfort zone because they don't trust themselves enough to step out of it, and they are afraid to confirm that their deepest insecurities and fears are really true? When we take time to really understand someone's behavior, it becomes a lot harder to judge them. We start to see the layers behind the actions, and that compassion or that insight helps us to understand, and as soon as we understand, we stop judging. All of these thoughts have also been inspired by the principle of Ahimsa, which comes from the ancient teachings of non-violence. It's not just about physical harm, it's about not causing emotional or mental harm to others. When we judge, we are in a sense committing violence against someone else's spirit. When we judge ourselves harshly, we're causing harm to our own well-being. We're telling ourselves that we're not good enough, that we can't grow or change. Practicing Ahimsa, non-violence, means making the conscious choice to stop harming ourselves or others through judgment. Instead, we practice kindness, understanding, and compassion. Replacing judgment with compassion, both toward ourselves and others, does so much more for our well-being than judgment ever could. When I judge myself harshly, I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, that I shouldn't even try to improve. It's a destructive mindset that keeps me stuck. And when I judge others, sure, I might feel superior for a moment, but that quickly fades. We all know it. And that leaves us feeling worse because now we've poisoned our own spirit. There is so much freedom in replacing judgment with understanding and eventually compassion. It may take practice, but every step toward this shift is a step toward greater peace and happiness. Don't get me wrong, I'm by no means perfect when it comes to this. I still catch myself judging sometimes. But applying these principles consciously has made a significant difference in my life. It has actually brought me more inner peace and joy, because every time I can stop myself, I'm freeing myself from poison, and I'm also giving myself the opportunity to work on myself. So it's a win-win. The person doesn't get judged anymore, and I get to work on myself, which I really love doing. Imagine a world where judgment didn't exist, where we didn't judge ourselves or others. How much pain and suffering could we eliminate? Take a moment to think about it. Now, you may not be able to control what others say or do, but you can start with yourself. It's a lifelong practice, but one that is worth striving for every day, because it can cause such an amazing ripple effect. So, free yourself and others. Try to understand instead of judge. Replace condemnation with compassion and focus on reflecting inward instead of outward. That's it from me for today. Thank you for tuning in, and always stay powered by progress. Have a good one. Bye.